What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to Sacred Cards. Today I'm coming at you with an update to my Appliancer deck profile for February 2024. I decided to do something different and profile one of my quote-unquote fun decks. It's certainly on the lower tier, but can definitely steal some wins, and with a good pilot can be very difficult to play against. This is one of my favorite Link decks. It's extremely fun to play and can overwhelm your opponent with its unique playstyle. The deck relies on making link monsters that gain different effects whether they are co-linked or not. The last time I profiled this deck, I went with more of a control build, so I decided to change it up a bit and try more of a combo variant. So with all that said, I'll go through my deck list and try and explain the cards as best I can. Let's get right on into it. Oh, sneak peek. Starting things off with the monsters, 3 copies of Appliancer Socket Roll. This card can special summon itself from the hand if you control another Appliancer monster. Also, if another Socket Roll is special summoned, you can special summon another Socket Roll from your deck. Next in the lineup is 3 copies of your best extender, Appliancer Copy Bockle. It can target an Appliancer monster you control, special summon this card from your hand, then it copies the name of the card you targeted, usually your copy of Socket Roll, to trigger its effect to special another from the deck. Plus, if this card is in the graveyard, you can banish it to target an Appliancer monster you control and special summon the same name from your hand or graveyard. And last of the Appliancer monsters is 3 copies of Appliancer Breaker Bunkle. During damage calculation, if your Appliancer battles another monster, quick effect, you can discard this card and your monster cannot be destroyed by that battle. And you take no battle damage. And if your Appliancer monster would be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish this card from your field or graveyard instead. None of these effects are once per turn, so the more copies you have, the more opportunities you have to protect your appliances. That's it for the Appliancer monsters. Now for some extenders. 3 copies of Jester Confit. You can special summon this card from your hand in attack position. Usually this card is good for link material, but if it is still on the field during the next end phase, target a face-up monster your opponent controls and return both that card and this card to the hand. Next, I run 3 copies of Parallel Exceed. If you link summon, you can special summon this card to a zone it points to, then you can special summon another from deck. They both become level 4, but again, they make great fodder for link material. And another card I run is 3 copies of the most powerful Kaiju, Jizukuru. This card serves 2 purposes, one being that you can deal with problematic monsters on your opponent's side of the field by attributing them for cost. Its high attack is perfect for attacking into with Laundry Dragon to destroy them, then inflict 3,300 damage to your opponent. And the last tech monster I play is a single copy of Codebreaker 0 Day. This card is used to complement a small link package in the extra deck. I'll explain it more in the extra deck, but basically the link 2 is able to freely summon this card from your hand or deck. The link arrows of Appliancer Celtipus make this package a perfect match for this deck. Next, I run a few hand traps in 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Just a great all-around hand trap to stop your opponent's searches and prevent them from gaining card advantage, as it hits pretty much every deck in the game. Following that up, I have 3 copies of Effect Veiler. This is another option to negate monster effects on your opponent's field, and I also like that it's not once per turn, so you don't mind seeing multiple copies. Now that is it for the monsters. Now on to the spells. Starting off the Appliancer spells, 3 copies of Appliancer Electrolyrical World. Probably my favorite card in the deck. This field spell does many different things. For one, when this card is activated, you can add any Appliancer card from your deck to your hand. If you link summon an Appliancer monster, you can add back an Appliancer monster from your graveyard to your hand. Also, once per turn, when an attack is declared, you can move an Appliancer monster to another main monster zone to make room for more appliances. For recovery and extending, I play 3 copies of Appliancer Reuse. Not once per turn, you can special summon one from your graveyard, but recycle it to the bottom of the deck when it leaves the field. And next up, I play 1 copy of Appliancer Conversion. I think 1 copy is all you need. Now, your Link 1 monsters cannot be used as Link material the turn they are summoned, but with this quick play spell, you can banish as many Link monsters in the main monster zone you want, then special summon the same number banished by this effect. This will help you reset your monsters any way you like, and also letting you attack and use their effects twice per turn. Sometimes I'll even use this card if one of my appliances gets targeted for an effect, just getting it off the field long enough to avoid that effect. Plus, you can recycle this card from your graveyard back to your hand by banishing any other appliance or spell or trap in the graveyard. Now, one of my favorite extenders in the deck is 3 copies of Machine Duplication. Also, not once per turn, you can target a machine monster with 500 or lesser attack, special summon up to 2 with the same name from your deck. Next best extender, I like to play 3 copies of Where Art Thou. This card lets you add a level 1 monster from the deck to your hand if you control a level 1 monster. Only downside is you take 2,000 life points during the end phase if you did not normal summon the monster you added. A small price to pay to get the missing piece you need from the deck. Now for the last 2 cards in the main deck is 1 copy of Terraforming and 1 copy of Monster Reborn. Terraforming is here as a 4th copy of the very powerful field spell we play in the deck. Monster Reborn is Monster Reborn, just another way to extend your plays and get some more attack power on the board. Now, that is it for the main deck. Now, moving on to the extra deck. Starting off with 2 copies of Appliancer Celtipus. This linked card can't be targeted by your opponent's card effects or monster's attacks. During damage calculation, if your monster is co-linked, it gains 1,000 attack for each monster co-linked to this card. Also, if your monster is not co-linked and is destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can draw a card. Next up, I play 2 copies of Appliancer Propoline. Again, I absolutely love this card. This card can attack directly once per turn while this card is co-linked and battles an opponent's monster. Quick effect, you can make that monster's attack 0 during damage calculation. And once per turn, if this card is not co-linked and battles an opponent's monster, quick effect, you can make that monster's attack 0 during damage calculation. And I have 2 copies of Appliancer Laundry Dragon. Neither player takes any battle damage from attacks involving this card once per turn. If this card is co-linked, battles an opponent's monster, banish that monster. Also once per turn, if this card is not co-linked, battles an opponent's monster, you can destroy that monster and inflict damage equal to its original attack. After the laundry is done, it's time for 1 copy of Appliancer Dryer Drake. This linked card gains 1,000 attack once per turn during your battle phase. If this card is co-linked, you can switch the locations of 2 appliances in the main monster zone, and if you do, the other monster can make a second attack. And once per turn, if this card is not co-linked and is targeted for an attack, you can negate that attack. Next, I play 1 copy of Appliancer Vacuolfin. This card can attack directly. When it is not co-linked, you can send a card from your hand to the graveyard to target a card your opponent controls and destroy it. If this card is co-linked, you can target a monster in the main monster zone and destroy it. And last of the appliances is 1 copy of Appliancer Kappa Scale. If this card is co-linked, you contribute itself to special summon an Appliancer Link monster from your graveyard, and if it is not co-linked, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Appliancer monster from the graveyard. For the last Link 1 monster is 1 copy of Linkuriboh, pretty self-explanatory. Linkuriboh contribute itself when opponent's monster declares an attack, change that monster's attack to 0. If this card is in the graveyard, quick effect, you contribute a level 1 to special summon this card. Now moving on to some of the more important Link monsters, 1 copy of Codebreaker Virus Swordsman. When this card is co-linked, you can special summon Codebreaker 0 Day from your hand, deck, or graveyard to any zone a link monster points to. Plus, if this card is in your graveyard because it was destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon it. Following that up is 1 copy of Codebreaker Virus Berserker. When this card is co-linked, you can special summon up to 2 Codebreaker monsters from your hand or graveyard to any zones link monsters point to. Plus, during the main phase, you can destroy spells and traps up to the number of linked Codebreaker monsters on the field. Now, a great monster, easy to end on turn 1, is 1 copy of Nightmare Griffin. You can discard a card to set a spell or trap from your graveyard to your field, draw a card if it was co-linked, but the main effect is that special summoned monsters on the field can't activate their effects unless they are linked, effectively shutting down your opponent while your monsters will likely always be linked. Now, a good monster to end on going second is a copy of Goki, the Power Load Ogre. This link 4 gains attack equal to the combined link ratings of all link monsters you control. It is unaffected by other card effects, plus you contribute itself to destroy up to 4 cards on the field. And finally, the last monster I play is a single copy of Mech Knight Crusadia Avramax. Just a really good boss monster to have access to, as it can't be targeted and opponent's monsters can only attack this card. When this card does battle quick effect, you can make this card gain attack equal to the monster's attack during damage calculation. Plus, if this card does get sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card, you can shuffle a card on the field into the deck. Well, that is it for the deck profile. I really hope you enjoyed it. If there's anything you like or don't like, leave me a comment telling me what you think. Be sure to like the video if you did, and subscribe for more content. Thank you for your support, and always enjoy the Sacred Cards. See you all in the next one.